Hello, and yeah, welcome back. Here's another vlog for you. If you've watched the previous vlog, you'll notice I'm sitting in the same position, wearing the same clothes. Now, the reason for that is that I'm recording some vlogs back to back. At the time of recording, I'm doing something called Summer of Poetry. Now, what Summer of Poetry is during the school summer holidays, as a teacher, I'm sort of obviously on some holidays, so I've got a little bit of time to release some poetry and record some vlogs. So I'm doing a poem a week. I've written a couple of new poems, but it's actually backdating my sort of previous poems. So this is the second one of that collection. It's not really a collection because after the summer is finished, I'm not going to refer to it as Summer of Poetry. I'm literally going to put it into my collection, Bad Poetry You Probably Never Want to Read. Links below to that. And then not refer to Summer of Poetry again. It's almost like it's a bit of a gimmick to get you to come back and read more of my poetry. Anyway, this poem today is my third poem in Summer of Poetry. Okay, and this one is a little bit more serious. Okay, it's called Here She Comes. Now, the point of it is the idea of whether you should sell your morals out or not. And it comes from a slightly different angle in that I'm looking at religion, but not in a negative way. Okay, I'm not overtly religious. Okay, I used to be Christian. I would call myself a Christian, but I'm very much agnostic. I can't prove either way. So I call myself an agnostic Christian. As time has gone on, and as I have got older and thought about these things more, I have decided I'm not a Christian. I don't really believe in God. It was just a fail-safe in case something happened. I got up there was a God, and I could say, I'm a Christian. Which morally I don't think is right. I think morally it's just... So that's kind of where this poem comes from, is that I am now agnostic, well, still agnostic, but I would now consider myself a humanist in that I believe to make the world a better place, and to have cohesion and harmony, humans have it in their power to do that, and we have the power to eradicate wars and sin and rubbish and all that sort of stuff. And actually, if we were nicer, better people, we could do that. So this poem is about someone from my point of view, not me, but it's not a personal poem. This hasn't happened. Meeting a woman who they fall madly in love with, who's really beautiful, and they just seem to get on, but they find out that woman is a Christian and they want them to go to church, and it's the question, is it morally right for you then to go along and almost convert or pretend to be Christian because there's this beautiful, amazing woman, but then not doing that means that you might lose that person who could be your soulmate. So it's a bit of a tricky dilemma sort of poem. Now, one point that this comes about from is when I was at university, we used to have the Christian Union, who used to kind of give toast and muffins out at the end of nights out if you went to the student bar. And I was always a little bit funny about taking a muffin, because I kind of felt like I was selling my soul. I was saying, yes, I love God, give me a muffin, which to me didn't sit morally right. Okay, I know that's not what they were trying to necessarily do. They were trying to show you kindness and they were doing the right thing, but I just felt morally awkward with it. So again, it's something I've not thought for a while, but I was talking to somebody about religion recently, someone who's their children, in fact, have become, they're not really religious, but their children have become quite religious through some activities that they do. So I sort of was like, is it all right to kind of be religious for that point? In fact, let's just tell me what you think. I'll read the poem and we'll see what comes out of it. So this is called Here She Comes. Here she comes, walking towards me, a vision of beauty flowing in white. I stop, I stare, and I dream of the future, lifting myself up to a newfound height. We talk, we charm, it all comes so easy. As we connect and we laugh long into the night. Here is the woman, the one of my dreams, the one I will die for, never give up the fight. We have similar interests, the same little quirks, from classic TV to games of the past. She leans in for a kiss, squeezes my hand, Can I do this? He's moving so fast. Yet it feels so right. Such a perfect moment. Nothing can ruin this feeling inside. The connection, it sparkles, explodes with joy. Is this my wife? My one future bride? We talk about family, how we grew up, holidays we went on and games we played. Although from different walks of life, it feels like this union was meant to be made. But the bombshell drops when we talk of beliefs, dashes my hopes like a ship on a rock. Whilst I'm not religious, she is a Christian, a doctrine in which I hold no stock. Her body drops as she hears my opinion, that my heart holds no space for the God she admires. She talks of her church, her extended family, but I feel no joy, nothing that inspires. She says I should visit, should hear a sermon, take the chance to enter the kingdom of the Lord. But my body tightens, my brain tries to shut off. I just tell her with me it does not strike a chord. I look into her eyes, I really could cry. She is so incredible, a beautiful sight. We have so much in common, so I have to ask, do I go to a church or do what is morally right? And there we go. Okay, so that is, that is my poem, Here She Comes, and it is about that moral idea of pretending or kind of looking at other beliefs that don't align with your own to potentially get something that you might want, but actually missing out on something important in your life by not following those beliefs and what is the moral and the correct solution. For me, it's quite deep, I think. Obviously, I've used the idea of Christian because that's pretty much the religion, the major religion around where I've lived and worked. And then not a Christian because I'm not one. That's why I've gone for that. But you could replace any religions or belief systems into that, and think about how would you do it? Would you go along? Would you not? I think in my younger days, I probably would have said, yeah, I'll go to church, I'll see how it is. In fact, I met a girl once and she was quite religious, and I ended up going to her church, and in the end, we broke up. We were really young. We broke up and it didn't work. But I don't think because of that experience I would do it now. I mean, I have a wife and children, so I wouldn't, but let's say I was single. I don't know whether I'd do it now. It's a very tricky one, but tell me what you think. You can add a comment below, or you can go onto my poetry collection I've already mentioned, Bad Poetry You Probably Never Want to Read. And yeah, let me know, like and subscribe if you want or not, it's up to you. And I'm just going to leave you on that big moral question. So until next time, bye.